Anyone? Hello everyone! I have been doing quite a bit of AFKing in between episodes. Probably not as much as I probably should have, but I did do at least some to get some amount of iron for more of these beacon projects I have around my base. But the main thing I have been doing in between videos is quite a lot of shroomlight gathering, because obviously, we are going to need a whole serious ton of shroomlights to complete this one sun. Now, if I'm completely 100% honest, I probably didn't do as much as I could have, mainly because all the projects I've been doing in between, like the sun, has been really eating up my time. But what I have been doing is, as much as I can in between these past couple episodes, is grinding out as many different shroomlights as I physically can. Yeah, this is definitely not enough. Far from enough. But it should be enough to do quite a lot of grinding and get as much of the sun done as I physically can. And it should be enough for me to, you know, do enough work and then not be too bored on coming back here and actually grinding out more shroomlights in the same episode, because I really want to try my hardest upon hardest to finish the sun. To finish the whole outside the sun. I know there's going to be stuff on the inside, but at least the outside, I want it pretty much fully and completely done. And I think from where we left off, we were at like 35% done. I think that's where we left off. So what? The amount we have right now went from 10% to 35%. So yeah, this is going to be tricky. It's going to be incredibly tricky to finish this in just today's episode. But that doesn't mean we're not going to try. We are 100,000% going to give it our all to try finishing this up in this one episode. I hope I'm not going to eat those words and regret saying that later. But we'll just have to see. Feels like forever since I've done this, honestly. Like, I took a long break just because, you know, I needed a break. But it still just feels weird doing this again. And I spent a good couple of hours getting back into the groove of things, building up a good few layers. And now we are 40% of the way done. We are so close to those clouds. I remember when we started all the way down there, and now look at us. Well, we still have shroomlights, while we still have a goal and a drive to finish this. Let's just keep it going. I have a small feeling there's just going to be a lot of montages, a lot of time lapses, and a lot of things like that in this one episode, because let's be honest, that's pretty much what this entire project today is going to need. Nothing but spit, grit, and determination to try finishing this thing, because I'm still determined. Like, even though we're only, what, a couple minutes into this episode, like, I am very determined to finish this thing, even if it's gonna take me several long, hard hours to get this done. But on the topic of montages, I then spent a very long space of time building up a lot of this entire sun, as much as I physically can, until we eventually ended up at a pretty decent place, all things considered. We are literally 6 layers away from being halfway done with this entire sun, which is fantastic. Only thing is, all the shroomlights I gathered is gone. Like, pretty much all entirely gone, so you know what that means. You know what that means. Yeah, actually, no, wait, I'm gonna try something different. I just had an idea. I want to try something. Gonna need you. And just to try something different, just for a little bit, I want to just see how many shroomlights I could get from just going around the nether. Probably not gonna do anything anywhere too close, just in case someone else has a plan for something in the nether. But I'm gonna fly out for a couple thousand blocks probably, until there's really no sign of any human life, which, great. Why do I always fly in a corner? Ow. Okay, fine. Who needs flying when I can tunnel? Okay, I think I'm far away enough. I think I'm in a pretty decent corner. Let's just see how many I can get from just like deforesting this entire area. I have a small suspicion I'm not gonna get many, but I need to do something else. I desperately need something other than just, like, doing the same thing over and over again. Okay, I think that's all the forest, so how well did we do? The answer to that is, not great. Not horrible, but not necessarily great. And I know some people are going to be screaming from the high heavens that I'm throwing all this away, but dude, if you have seen how much of this stuff I get, like, it's gonna be just literally a drop in the water compared to what I have back at home. And I guess what I could do is just, like, get the shroom lights specifically. Again, I need to break something up. I need to try something different. Not because it's more efficient, but just to keep myself sane. Like, there's a reason I took like a month off from working on the sun. And after I did this, frankly, very ineffective method for quite a little bit of time, yep, not that efficient at all. I mean, it was different. I could definitely say that. It was definitely different than what I was normally doing. But, you know, I might as well do the thing that ain't broke and that gets me quite a bit of shroom lights in a reasonable space of time. Nothing too fast, let's be honest. There's no real way I'm doing this too fast. But at least the fastest way I have currently. And after me forgetting to montage me grinding out more shroom lights, a real shame, I know, we have only managed to get just over these 4 shulker boxes of shroom lights. There's no shot I'm gonna finish this today. Why do I keep saying that? Why do I keep saying like, oh yeah, 100%, this is gonna be done this episode, and then I just end up being only about 10% further in? I don't know. I gotta stop saying that. I gotta stop saying it. But something else I want to grab is also quite a bit of hay, which I've been grinding out too, so I can actually get more of that skulk spread out. And something else which I'm considering, maybe not doing today, but at least considering starting relatively soon, is the other planets. Because obviously, we're not just gonna have like the big sun. We're obviously gonna have like the 8 planets, probably the asteroid belt, the Kuiper belts, probably a bunch of moons, and plenty of other different types of things like that. And yeah, well, they are going to be in a different orbits from one to another. They are going to be pretty much all aligned right in the center point of the entire sun and the entire solar system, if that makes sense. So at the very least, when we get to at least 50% done, which I think we can do with what we have, if we can get to 50%, then we at least have an eyeball as to where we can actually build up the rest of these planets and the rest of this entire mega base, even if the sun itself is still a work in progress. And alright, let's grind the rest of these few layers out today, for now, to at least get to Y200. We can definitely do that. We can 100% do that. And I definitely did give my all building up as many more layers as I physically can with the few shroom lights I did have, as well as potentially grinding out at least a few more here and there around the place. And surprisingly, after a fairly short space of time, we are 50% of the way done. Literally, this is half of what we have to do, and it's taken us, what, 3 or 4 months to get to this point? Like, it's kind of ridiculous to think about it that way, but if we just take a step back and just have a look at this thing really quick, we could see that this thing is huge. Utterly huge. And I mean, again, this isn't survival. Sure, we have add-ons that's helping us, but still, this is unbelievable to see what we have already done. And it's unbelievable to think about the fact that we do have probably enough to have like an idea as to what we could do for the rest of the solar system when we build up like Mercury and everything else like that, like what we mentioned. But here's the thing, even though we're at 50% now, we still have like 2.5 or so shulker boxes of shroom lights, so why don't we keep going? Let's keep going. Let's at least finish up with what shroom lights we have left and then see where we manage to get. You know, the great thing about these middle layers is the fact that you pretty much are building the exact same layer for a few times, so maybe that's what made it so quickly, going through these last few layers up here. And yeah, these middle rows are evident that, like, you could get this done quickly. Like, I just did the next 2, and that took, like, maybe 5-10 minutes as opposed to maybe, like, 30 or 40 minutes. Like, I'm gonna enjoy these middle layers for a little bit, considering how quickly I can do them, but that does mean I am draining through my shroom light supply pretty quickly, so yeah, it's gonna be pretty short-lived, but you know what, I'll enjoy it while I can at least. And here's the first ever block of me actually finally going inward as opposed to outward. That is weird. But I'm going to have to do that a lot more as we continue building up now, huh? And apart from a few stacks, we've used up all our shroom lights we have and got to 53.5% done with this entire sun. Man, this... Every time we do something here, every time we add on a little bit extra, it always just looks that much bigger and that much cooler. And again, if we just take a step back, then we could just really see just how incredible and how just unbelievably massive a project like this really is. I mean, look at that. Just... why am I doing something so unbelievably massive? I don't really know, but while I am having some frustrating moments, I am having a lot of fun still constructing this. And I am looking forward to working more on this in the future. But I think, coming soon, we will be finally starting to work on maybe some other things related to the solar system inside of here. But yeah, before that, I need to breed some cows. Eat, my pretties, eat, eat. And continue doing that in between episodes. But yeah, until then, thanks for watching, and I'll see you all later.